So I'm just gonna forego the countdown and not do anything. So hey guys, Ranch here, bringing you all another StarCraft commentary. This is gonna be the first set in round 32 of Group F of the whatever MSL 2010. This is gonna be on odd I 2 between Hwasin and FireFist. We got Hwasin in the upper left-hand position as the orange Terran. We got FireFist in the bottom right-hand position as the purple Zerg. So this is an interesting group. I think a little bit more interesting than the last group where we got Hwasin, FireFist, one of the constant surprises of the MSL Ro32 is kind of alongside Hyuk, I guess. And we also have ZerO and JangBi, or JangBi. I had that one point in time during I think the Lost Saga and maybe the Avalon where I always called him JangBi because apparently that's the correct pronunciation, but because that's the way Daniel Lee always pronounced it. But then after a while, I just kind of started calling him JangBi again. I don't know why, but infected by somebody. So to start things off, Hwasin's going to go for a... Right back to the game, Ranchin. Hwasin's going to go for a wall-in on odd I 2. Not really many changes between odd I and odd I 2 from what I can tell. Some mineral changes, the amount of resources in patches, and I believe in some extractors have been changed, but overall not too many dynamic changes. On the opposite side, FireFist apparently opting to go for a 12 hatch, sitting out a drone that I assume is going to go for the 12 hatch. So Hwasin's playing, or okay, maybe not. Maybe not. Let's see. Interesting enough, definitely not a scout. So he is sending it out for 12 hatch, but probably not the natural expo, but instead at the 4 o'clock position right here, or not. Okay, interestingly enough, setting out. That's interesting. Setting on a drone to one drone to scout for proxies and one to set down the 12 hatch. I didn't think he was gonna go for a drone scout 2-player map. You often see Zergs not to do that, but FireFist being extra careful because Hwasin is a player that doesn't mind bringing out the cheese every once in a while. And never mind, Hwasin, I thought he was gonna go for a wall of some sort, but apparently he's just gonna go for a 14cc on this 2-player map. He's doing the actual opposite. Okay, he can't actually. His supply depot totally off for a wall and didn't notice that until now. But a drone going to come in there, spot the 14cc, so he's going to try to delay the SCV coming off the line for Hwasin just in time to prevent that from happening. But yeah, Hwasin going exactly the opposite of what FireFist thought he was going to go for. One SCV scout coming off to plant down a barracks here for Hwasin as well. And one SCV just to ward off the drone. So, oh wow, another critical SCV coming off just the ramp, just to block the drone from getting up the ramp. The drone is going to be able to get up there, but still, a very nice play overall. One of those SCVs should be going out to scout for Hwasin soon. Yet another SCV being pulled out by Hwasin, so he definitely wants to pick this drone off. And the opposite side, we see a spawning pool going down after 3rd hatch, so... And a wall-in from Hwasin. Only a partial wall, yeah. I think is that a partial wall? I'm not quite sure if a drone can get... I think Marines and drones can get through that, actually. I'm not overall too sure. No, definitely Marines should be able to get through that, but... A refinery coming up for Hwasin too, very quick refinery, so that might be why he was so aggressive in trying to force that scout away, possibly going for mech. That's kind of weird. Hwasin, the type of player that generally when he goes for mech, he doesn't really come out of it very well because he is very much a old school MMM player. Should spot also the timing on that the hatchery is going to come down sooner. FireFist smartly opting to go for the production hatch before spawning pool just because his economy allowed it. So opposite engineering bay coming up, so this is very interesting. I have no idea really what it is exactly that Hwasin's going for here. He's only produced 1 Marine so far, and that's just to kill the drone. So at the very least, he, for now, just wants to keep the drone away. The drone has healed a lot of health since being around there. I'm not even sure if it can escape. Meanwhile, a CV scout way in the upper right-hand corner there for Hwasin. He's hiding that away. I'm not quite sure what the FireFist knows about that. And that drone might get picked off. A couple more shots on that. Only 1 Marine, though, critically. With only 1 Marine, that's not going to be enough for fun. Okay, still 1 engineering bay and an academy in the upper left-hand, so never mind. I thought he might be going for a factory build, but he went for eBay first, so that's why he's going for that early refinery just to get those weapons up, one upgrades, and to be able to get those turrets up. So he's going to go for that rather powerful anti-muta build. Ooh, that's interesting. Nice little first-person map views of the players. That CV scout does get spotted by FireFist, so he's going to go in and take that out, adding in an Evo chamber and going for lair, so he might be going actually for, instead of going for M&Ms, he might be going for, most likely going for lurkers here. And I'm not quite sure how long he kept that scout inside, whether that scout still is inside for FireFist or not. I assume at this point it should have been picked off. 3 barracks is coming off now for Hwasin, so he's going to go, wow, he's most likely going to go for a timing attack. This is a very interesting build coming in from him. eBay into Academy into three additional barracks. He's going to be on 4 racks. Very quick 4 racks off 14cc. So he might be gunning in for a stim range +1 timing attack. Also adding in a factory. So and going for comp stations alongside. This seems like a very, very thought out build by Hwasin here. Going for very specific things. Was definitely trying to prevent a scout from this. On the opposite side, we do see the Aspire coming out though. So I'm not altogether too sure what FireFist, whether he's going to go for lurkers alongside his mutas or what. He's sending out a drone to pick up the base at the upper right hand. That gets spotted out. The drone is still going to do it, apparently. He's going to be able to. The SCV is going to spot that, but that's a very good position for Hwasin to be. So it gives him a target. Instead of trying to, if FireFist decides to pick up that base at the upper right hand, which has those dual extractors, it might be a target, because that is double gas. That's very good for Zerg. Zerg isn't going to come out there and pick off that SCV scout, but still it is going to be a target for, okay, drone actually waits for the SCVs to come pick off that SCV before it puts down, okay, the hatchery, but kind of wants to make Hwasin, at the very least, think twice. Starport also on the way, so Hwasin is going to go off 2 bases, going to tech up, going for a heavy medic marine army with science vessel support, maybe go for a siege tank as well, just in case there's going to be some sunkens. But no sunkens yet at the front for FireFist, not really needed because of 14cc, he's not really been aggressive. But a lot of medic Zerglings out there for FireFist with speed upgrades. But I definitely think Hwasin has enough forces in his natural expansion to defend in a sort of run by attempt. I don't think anything is going to be too successful. Starport's also coming up, and I still don't know exactly what FireFist is going for. But he's going for mutas. His Spire is up, so he might be going for mutas. But I think Hwasin should be ready for this. There are mutas coming out, but I think Hwasin, interesting Evo chamber there. He might have been just to upgrade his Zergling. So instead, FireFist might actually, it does have a rather large Zergling count, so there might be just some carapace on the Zergling. So he might be going for a Zerg muta build. Scan's going off the bottom left hand, so Hwasin making sure that FireFist is not double expand, because if he does double expand, Hwasin will know that he's going to be safe for a little bit more. Meanwhile, he has his weapons 1 out there. Mutas are on the way. Definitely saw him put some turrets down. But it does have a pretty powerful force. He should have actually been able to get stim. He does have stim. He should have been able to get range by this point as well. Science vessel on the way also. So we are going to be seeing some science facility amps on the way. So we're going to see science vessel. Mutas are going to be microing against the medic marines. Medic marines pick off, I think, 1 muta there. Might have been able to pick off 1 more. Pretty decently sized grouping of mutas out there for FireFist. And those Zerglings also really help out. But he has to be very careful. Hwasin already has another grouping almost completely ready in his natural expansion. While an SCV actually going to go to the upper right hand and try to plop down a turret, interestingly enough. So Hwasin, yeah, it puts his medic marines there as well. He's going to go for this hatchery. This might be a pretty critical attack for him. There is going to be Zerglings and mutas coming in, so we're going to see which manages to win out. Mutas, medic marines, not turret's still not up. Zerglings are going to come in there and clean this out though. So Hwasin going for an attack that fails. Meanwhile, going to stream in even more force. Going to stream him his entire backup force. Run right towards that upper right hand. He knows that is a critical location for him to take because, meanwhile, yeah, there is Carapace upgrade coming in from FireFist and also going for Hive Tech already. So he, meanwhile, keeping himself to mutas and Zerglings only, gonna gun for Hive Tech, trying to get Defowers out there as soon as possible. Zerglings are gonna come in and surround with Mutalisks out there as well. We're gonna see, I'm not sure if Hwasin does not have enough. He's gonna get surrounded and get this entire force ripped to shreds. Oh man, yeah. I think he should have maybe waited on science vessels. I mean, sure, keeping up the pressure, trying to take the base out, I understand. Because they already put a lot of force in that. Actually going to move out with yet again with a very small troop now. That's probably not going to be able to accomplish too much. Meanwhile, going for 2 starports now, adding in barracks as well. A lot of barracks. He's going to go for 7 racks here. And 2 control time, so he's going to be pumping out science vessels like crazy. I feel like before he set out with a second attack force, as soon as he saw what was happening, I feel he should have retreated, waited for that irradiate. And 1 irradiate in that single battle would have really given him a much better chance of fighting FireFist back. But FireFist has his Hive up now. Going to go for Hive Tech very early. I'm not seeing any Hive Tech buildings down for him yet. No Hive Tech to speak of quite yet, but I'm assuming he gonna go for Defowers. Meanwhile, adding in creep colonies the upper right hand as Hwasin scan that to see how vulnerable that is. But I'm not quite sure whether this is gonna be into Defowers. This might be something different. This might actually be Guardians. I'm not altogether too sure. He might be rushing to Guardians. I don't think that's the case. Irradiate gonna come off on those mutas. The split a little bit late, so there's gonna be some damage done. But he split, you know, not too late though. He did some damage done to his mutas, but not that much that it's really gonna damage. He's gonna be able to fly this around, and the damage is gonna be repaired. Ultra is Cameron, so no, he's gonna go for quick Ultra, adding in Sunk inside his upper right hand and his own natural expansion. He wants to make himself very, very careful. And Hwasin, just unfortunately, despite his very interesting build, didn't really managed to do too much with the timing attacks. FireFist with reinforcements always coming in at exactly the right time for him to be able to react to whatever it was that Hwasin was doing. Hwasin now also has Armor 1 upgrades on his Marines, so he's going to be able to fight this back a little bit easier. Still a lot of Zerglings on the ground, a fairly large group of Mutalisks as well, and these dual pronged attacks from the air and the ground really been doing a good job for FireFist of keeping Hwasin back. Hwasin, meanwhile, has built up a quite sizable ball of forces now, just from those 7 barracks is popping like crazy. Also going to expand the 12 o'clock. He really needs that to support. Meanwhile, Mutalisk and Zerglings are coming right in that expansion. This is going to force Hwasin back, or is this actually going to force him to try to go for a counterattack? One Science was there, does not manage to get irradiate off. Almost dead. Now, Mutalisks are going to go for the kill on that, but also the Medic Marines, some being produced inside of Hwasin's bane. There are some turrets as well to possibly defend. We're going to see how he manages to fight this back on the opposite side. Zerglings are going to be able to penetrate this. Going to start by focusing on the turrets on the opposite side. Hwasin's thinking of going for the attack. He's not running down back, but they're all 3 Sunkens now. He's going to go for the break here. His defensive matrix on one of his frontal Marines. He's going to go for this, and FireFist looks like he's in trouble now. Meanwhile, inside of Hwasin's base, doing a lot of damage there, but he's going to be forced to sack his own natural expansion just to try to do damage to Hwasin's main. That natural expansion is going to go down. Meanwhile, the opposite side, Hwasin still hasn't cleaned this up with that many barracks inside of his base, though. Even some SVs fighting, he finally does manage to clean this up. So Hwasin now, thankfully, going for that counterattack. If he hadn't gone for that, might have bought FireFist a lot more time. Ultralisk Cavern just upgrading at the moment. But a couple Ultralisks pop, 4 Ultralisks pop. There's going to be the spawning pool there, but no Zerglings to support those Ultras because those Ultras are going to get ripped to shreds. There's that one Matrix Marine that's not really doing anything. Oh, I watch those Ultralisks just pop. A lot of Ultras being built here by FireFist, but they all get ripped to shreds. And GG coming in from FireFist. No support whatsoever for Ultralisk. I feel actually what was a bit of a mistake on his part to actually rush for Ultras on 3 bases. Mind you, he had 4 gas going, I think he had double gas going at full on that time at the upper right hand position, but still kind of rushing things. He had Hwasin on the back foot at one point when he was fighting him back, so he should have just kept that maneuverability going, I say, and kept those Zerglings out in the field, kept those Mutalisks in the air. Go for Defiler tech, stay on Defilers, and then maybe gun for Ultras once you had a 4th base. Sure, 4 gas will help you support Ultras, but you want additional mineral intake as well, and you want to keep those Defilers out in there in the field. So Hwasin's going to take this. He stays the red sniper, coming back from a little bit of trouble there, but he's going to move on to the winners match, and we're going to see who he ends up facing. So GG guys, wrenching out. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed. Hey guys, Ranching here, pretty much StarCraft commentary. This is going to be the 2nd set in Group F of the whatever MSL of the 2010 spring season. This is going to be between ZerO and JangBi, or JangBi, if you prefer to pronounce it correctly in the Korean way. It's going to be on match point, and I'm once again foregoing with the countdown. I always try to remember to, I'm always trying to remind myself to use the in-game clock, but I always forget to. Once I'm into the game, I'm like, I always forget to. I could do like this accepting as Nuke does, but I'm not very good with it. And wondering whether that's going to become the next popular thing, but I don't really know. So this is going to be a match point, as I've already said. We're going to have ZerO at the upper right-hand position as the yellow. ZerO going to have JangBi at the... I said JangBi that time. At the bottom left-hand position is the orange Protoss. Colors are a little bit alike, so it's going to be harder than the minimap. If this becomes like a huge macro game, it's going to become a little bit harder than the minimap to know what's what. But, since it's not same race game, they don't really feel the need to change it and have it, ketchup and mustard or whatever. And we're going to see here. 44, 45, 46. 4 sinking. There you go. I did it. Woot. I should just do that from now on. Yeah. Then I can start talking before the countdown because people always want to hear me talk for 5 seconds longer. I know a couple of people lately that really don't tell me to shut up and you're not funny, Ranchin. Nah, sometimes I don't know whether they're trolls or not, but some of them are saying that other places. Well, Ranchin's totally not funny, man. What do people see in that? What do you think is funny? He's not funny. But I question why people like that actually bother listening to me if they don't think I'm interesting or funny. So, yeah, you can watch these matches elsewhere. So, let's see. We saw Forge Fastman coming in for JangBi, but ZerO, meanwhile, sitting on the drone apparently to, I think, most likely to scout at the mineral only behind the minerals. Probe came in, so that's most likely going to be a sign for ZerO that he can safely put down his 12 hatch and not worry too much about any sort of funky proxy. Might have been thinking of actually sending that drone to expand the bottom right hand. I'm not overall too sure. He might have been trying to do that, maybe go for a double expand that way. But I think as soon as he saw the probe and, probe sees me, okay, that's interesting. Pylon coming in right inside of, okay, JangBi putting on a pylon right inside of ZerO's base. That's interesting. We're going to see what it's actually going to do with that. Pylon's ready, so we're going to see what this is going to be. I have no idea, really. Probably going to go down and do something. So JangBi's going to go for something interesting. It's going to be that next... Oh, going for a forge there. What are you doing, JangBi? Drone's going to come in there, harass it. The probe goes down. It's going to be it. And a gateway. Oh! Oh, never mind. I thought it was going for Forge Fast Expand. I look at the minimap, and I don't think he has a Forge inside of ZerO's base, and he's blocking off the natural with a gateway and Forge. Forge's going to come down. Gateway's just going to get surrounded. But meanwhile, he's going to put a couple of cannons at the front of the natural. What? What the hell? He's going to Forge Fast Expand, all right? Right inside of ZerO's base. Probe's still alive, barely. Slowly trying to recharge. The gateway will go down, but a lot of drones coming off the line to destroy the gateway. Probe is going to follow quickly, but all the drones coming off the line. So ZerO's going crazy trying to take all this down, doing absolutely no mining. On the opposite side, this is some resources being lost here by JangBi, of course, but he's at very least doing some mining. These cannons are going to go down quickly. Going to manage to get a couple of drone kills only. And that Forge and Pylon will go down momentarily as well. JangBi, though, doesn't really look like he's reacting. He's, meanwhile, just calmly putting down his Nexus, putting down a cannon. Gonna hope that the Forge isn't even being touched. And he knows it's not going to be touched for all because the drones were off on mining for way too long. ZerO can't afford to allow any probes to come in and do some of that. Meanwhile, no, just a gateway and a cannon behind it going to come out. A couple of Zergans are going to run out. They're going to get stopped by that one single cannon. But God... Oh man! First, put it on a Forge, put in a gateway to block the drones from the Forge, and a couple of cannons, which didn't really do too much. I think he expected more to happen. Zerglings! One Zergling's gonna go down to the cannon, and one Zergling's not really gonna do much. Might take down that probe though. Nope, maybe not. But yeah, overall, absolutely insane. Oh god, this is why I love StarCraft. People do some crazy, crazy stuff. So bottom right-hand position, ZerO's going to put down yet another hatchery. He needs to pump his economy quickly because he lost quite a bit of econ there. JangBi, he was expending resources, sure, but he was really still mining all the time. Zergling going to be irritating. Oh, almost managing to get a probe there, I think. JangBi won't going to pull off a probe to engage because Zergling is quite a bit damaged, and the probe actually at this point might actually pick it off if possible. Cybernetics going to go down inside of the NAT because the Zergling's scouting. On the opposite side, JangBi sent another drone scout. He's going to be able to, prop scout, I'm sorry, he's going to be able to spot the low right-hand position, and Lair coming up for ZerO as well. I think I saw Zergling attacking the Forge meanwhile, so slowly but surely those bases of that Forge and such there is going to go down. But JangBi, he put it on a Forge inside of his main meanwhile. He went for a Forge Fast Expand. It's not the usual. Stargate also coming up. He definitely went for a Forge Fast Expand. It's not your usual Forge Fast Expand, but hey, a Forge Fast Expand is a Forge Fast Expand. Oh God, this is... whether he wins or loses, I give him mad props for balls of steel. Massive balls made of steel. Extremely hard steel. Maybe even adamantium, if adamantium existed. For Zealot now out for JangBi, he could actually be in a little bit of trouble now because ZerO's sending out a lot of Zerglings out there to try to go and break that line there. There's only one probe with one single Zealot to hold. Almost a control group. There's... Yeah, okay, no, I thought there was a first Dragoon actually out now. That's going to get surrounded. Yes, Zergling's going to come in there, surround that, try to pick that off. There's going to be a cannon there to fire at, but at the very least, the Dragoon most likely will go off. Some of those Zerglings actually are going to be able to get picked off, but a few of them are going to be able to run by nothing but a probe and a couple of Zealots to blockade. 4 Zerglings get inside the main. 5 Zerglings get inside the main, I'm sorry. There's going to be a cannon being put down there, but the Zerglings at the very least are still going to manage to get something done before that cannon comes up. Going to try to come in, trying to get in close to that cannon, picking off probes. Any probe that comes out of line and comes in there. Dragoon are going to come in there. That's going to get picked. Almost gets picked off there thanks to a probe. Barely managed to survive. Another probe going to go down there. Another probe going to go down. Still not managing to pick off that Dragoon. One more shot. That's not going to happen. Probes are going to be able to pick off that Zergling. Dragoon at I think at the end was a 2 shields and 10 health. Almost managed to die there. Meanwhile, now Spire out, and if this is going to be heavy muted, this could be horrible. Did I see a second? Yeah, I did see a second Stargate coming in at at the natural expansion. So JangBi reacting to the possibility of heavy Muta with the massive Corsairs, the Heaven Stargate, second Stargate, the Heaven Stargate upgraded. That could be. There you go. Some ideas for StarCraft 2. The Heaven Stargate. Summon down God, and he kills everything. So 2 Stargates, that's most likely going to be his reaction to the possibility of heavy Mutas coming in his way. I was actually not producing that many Corsairs from them at the moment, wondering who was thinking of transitioning to something funker later on. Just Scourge, so never mind, just very standard coming in. Although I feel actually kind of lost opportunity maybe from ZerO. I honestly feel he could have gone very heavy Muta and done some damage, but I think he forgot. Definitely probably rethought that idea as soon as he saw that second Stargate. Like, you know what? I don't know. Robotics is already coming up here. So JangBi also some Core spinning, so I assume that's going to be for weapons 1 for those Corsairs. So I think JangBi's going to try to slowly transition into Sarah Reaver here. Third Gax going to come up there, up at the bottom right position alongside a bunch of extractors. A lot of Corsairs in the air now for JangBi already. 5, I think, and weapons 1 upgrade on the way. There are some mutas out there for ZerO actually, so he is thinking about it. I'm not quite sure whether he actually. I think he went for the Scourge first just in case, trying to pick off those Corsairs, but I think with all those Corsairs in the air, it's going to be a little bit dangerous to go for this. He's putting down his Hydras then as well, so he's not committing to mutas. At the very least, more cannons going to be put up at the front by JangBi. He's going to have, most likely going to have his robotic support bait being put up. Now Corsairs are going to go there, pick off these 2 Overlords at the bottom right of position. ZerO's going to react to this to actually go for the attack instead of trying to pick off these Corsairs. He's going to try to go for the attack because he knows the natural expansion of JangBi is going to be rather vulnerable here. JangBi is going to try to push back. No cannons whatsoever to defend. This natural expansion is going to be completely wide open. Mutas don't even need to micro right now. They can just go and do as much damage as they can. There are Scourge. Meanwhile, waiting for those Corsairs as they come back. A lot of the pros being killed. Some of them run and out of the range of those mutas. Some of the Scourge almost do catch some of the Corsairs because JangBi unfortunately flew some of them back. Strange little micro mistake I think there. He's meanwhile getting his robotic support is up. And some Reavers are going to be on the way alongside the Shadow. He has to be very careful not to get those picked up by Scourge. Spore colonies ready in several in the natural expansion there by ZerO. So he's going to be very careful. He knows of the heavy cascade of Corsairs there in the air. See, I'm using that. Thanks, Moltrap. Love you. Man, that sounded kind of, yeah. But, yeah. Okay. JangBi should be, I think soon thinking of expanding. He has those weapons 1 out, so if he wants to go out and hunt down those mutas, he might do that as long as they stay in a clump. But, not really pumping Corsairs, maybe only from 1 Stargate at the moment. Hydra's on the way out for ZerO now. Look at the game that is now. They're kind of staying a bit of a stalemate. Some Scourge are getting popped. Blammo. And finally, some cannons going outside in the natural, and it's still with Dune actually coming down now, so he's going to transition to a ground army alongside, most likely. Still don't see any shuttles or Reavers out for him, so I'm wondering if he's rethinking his own decisions. I don't know what's going on anymore. I thought StarCraft was a specific kind of game, but it always confuses me. Oh, God. Evo Chambers up. I think I saw 2. I think I saw 1 at the bottom right now. I might have seen another one somewhere else at the natural. I'm not overall too sure. She's definitely going to keep up upgrading those ground forces. So both players are thinking of transition to ground armies. Crusader's going to go out, try to pick off an Overlord. Just run in, take a couple pot shots right back. Overlords do not have speed, though. So they're going to be weak. Oh, Hydra's going to try to run in by, but the Corsair's going to be able to take a lot of advantage. Mutalisk, meanwhile, going to go yet again for the natural expansion of JangBi. Then 1 Single Dragoon in the can to defend their... Pardon me, they're still going to have going to be able to get a lot of damage done. On the opposite side, those Corsairs trying to do pretty much the same thing, and I'm wondering whether JangBi's actually want to fly in and engage the way that they were flying. They were flying the same course there, so they might have actually engaged their Corsairs. They're just trying to find a place for them to do something more. Mutalisk meanwhile going to fly back, have Carapace 1 upgrades, so cannons and Corsairs not going to be as effectual, but hey, they're still going to manage to do something to them. Sunken Colony and Creep Colony, that might become a Spore. Yeah, he's going to, Spore Colony inside of the main there. And pretty decent Hydra army, as actually ZerO decides to expand for the mineral only at the 4 o'clock. JangBi thinking of expanding at his own mineral only, I think, picking off yet another Overlord there, but overall still hasn't done that. Still losing some probes to those Okay, actually managed to fire him back again. Still not losing as many probes to mutas, but ZerO has a fairly substantial Hydra army, so if he tries to break the front, at the very least there are Reavers there to help defend. Some Zealots, and going for Reavers instead of High Templar can be effective, because Reaver Scarabs are, well, depending on the situation, Reaver Scarabs can be harder to dodge They don't cover as much surface area. Oh, shuttle! Mule is after that shuttle trying to hunt it down, but gonna get picked off. At the very least, they spotted the Reaver. Not quite sure if you know about the Reaver. Second Reaver on the way though. But yeah, High Templars, they cover a larger surface area, but the full damage is only done over 4 seconds. Meanwhile, Reavers do more damage. Well, depending on whether they're upgraded or not, I suppose. But they have potentially do more damage. Well, maybe perhaps less splash, less surface area, but instantly. So that's a very strong weapon. Hydras, especially if they're in a large clump, a couple of Reaver Scarabs can just whittle down a Hydra army by half, by only with a couple of Scarabs. TT out there now, out there for JangBi. He's the only Protoss player down there, but he's trying to possibly sneak that by trying to do some damage. Opposite side, one storm gonna come off right on that Rab. Catches a lot of Hydras though. Doing a lot of damage, picking some of them off. Nice, of course. You gotta expect some High Templars coming in from JangBi. JangBi's not JangBi if he doesn't go for High Templars, really. He does have some Reavers to support, but what I'm really worried about is economy-wise. Can he actually support all this economy, guys? It's like he has every single take out there. He has Storm, he has Dark Templars, he has Reavers. Fine not picking up his mineral because the way he's... of course, he's not pumping that many ground forces. Lurkers! Whoa, GT is going to come in there. Do nothing else. The really is going to spot the million Lurkers out there coming in. On the opposite side, JangBi's most likely going to be rushing to Observatory if he didn't have that before. Meanwhile, his mineral only that's trying to put down is going to be heavily threatened. Hydra's going to come in there. Some Scourge is going to Corsair's going to come in and pick up some of the Scourge. They're going to be able to fly back. A couple of Zealots going to run up here, and that they're not going to be able to do anything. That's one of the weaknesses. He doesn't have a very large Hydra. He has a High Templar coming in. One Storm going to come off. High Templar did get picked off though, and the second one gets picked off by the Hydras. Nice High Templar sniping a couple of Corsairs as they fly by as well. They're going to be forced back, but I think that forced to cancel. There are going to be a couple of shuttles coming in there for JangBi. There is a Spore Colony there. A couple of Reavers going to start off by picking off the Spore Colony and trying to pick up some of the Hydras alongside as well. Let's see. Did he drop anything from the other shuttle or not? Spore Colony still hasn't come down. Shuttle's going to be forced away. One shuttle did go down. There is a high DT there, though. That's going to take down the Spore Colony. One more hit. And there are, I think, more Spore Colonies, maybe second colonies coming up for him. There's an Overlord in there, I think. So DT's going to have to try to get as much accomplished as possibly can. No, never mind. Actually, Hydras came in and killed it. So, boo-hoo. But yeah, I think JangBi's kind of overextending himself very heavily on the tech. Not really that many mutas have been produced at all times by ZerO, but he did go very heavy Hydra. He did have the mutas, but he still managed to support this off those 3 bases. But JangBi's gonna have to. The mineral only is already very heavily depleted, and his mineral only his natural expansion can't be very well off on minerals either. Meanwhile, ZerO has his mineral only up as well, so he's fairly good on resources. His main is still in somewhat decent shape. So, and now ZerO's going to go for that mineral only. The Nexus isn't even up yet. There are some Reavers there to defend alongside Zealot's going to run in right now. Lurkers are going to be the The cannons are going to be the only thing, I think, to spot those Lurkers. I don't think I see any observers anywhere. A couple Reavers still in there, going to try to get as many Scarabs off as they can. Cannon's going to go down into the Lurkers, still going to be able to do a lot of damage. Reavers going to try to do as much as they can. One High Templar there. I'm not sure is going to manage to get a storm off. He gets picked off, but ZerO going to be able to take down a mineral only. And I think he's going to be able to win this just with this. Just deny this mineral only, deny JangBi any resources. JangBi's going to run out. He went too much tech too heavily. High Templa's going to get a couple of decent storms off. More into an Archon, but GG. JangBi GG. No way he was going to be able to stay in that game with the amount of resources that he expended on way too much. So I feel like he went into that just with that early trick of his. Tried to do more damage to ZerO. Expected to do more damage than he actually did. And then went for way too much tech, like as if he was going to go for Corsair Reaver first, then he went for High Templars instead for a ground army, and it was all very strange. I'm not quite sure whether he knew exactly what he was going to do. So you can't do that against ZerO. ZerO's one of the best ZVP players in the world, so he's going to take care of you as soon as, if you don't have a plan against him, if you're a Protoss and don't have a plan. So anyway, GG guys, wrenching out there listening. I'm going to bring you the winners match. I'm going to see whether Hwasin or ZerO is going to be the first one to exit this group into the round of 16. Okay, talk about a one uninspired intro. Hey guys, Ranch in here, bringing you all StarCraft commentary. This is going to be the winners match in Group F of the round of 32 of the whatever MSL of the 2010 spring season. I'm still calling it that, but because I don't know if they actually have a sponsor yet. But whatever. This is going to be a fighting spirit between ZerO and Hwasin. We're going to have ZerO at the bottom left-hand corner as the purple ZerO. We're going to have Hwasin at the bottom right-hand corner as the red Terran. Fighting spirit, as I said, 4-player map. And this is going to be fun. I'm going to do the syncing thing once the game clock starts in again, because it's more comfy that way when they don't show the countdown. I can't do the accept thing because I'm not epic like Nuke. I don't have his extreme epic reaction skills that are, you know, made of win and awesome. So this could be an interesting match. Hwasin, of course, the red sniper. That's very, very good against Zerg. Always having that experience on his side. But he hasn't really played much at all lately. Don't think he was even... I think he was fielded like once in Winners League, and I'm not even sure about that. I don't think he was fielded very much at all. He's not been fielded much in Pro League. He's always been more of a kind of Star League guy. He plays in the Star Leagues and not much else. July's on that spectrum as well. He hasn't really been fielded much at all anywhere by STX either. Which I find kind of odd on Hwasin's side, especially because Hwasin still capable of playing. He still has his skill set, still capable of playing a good game of StarCraft. And ZerO, his ZVT is not the best in the world. He's not the best ZVT player in the world, but he has brought some very good Zerg versus Terran matches before. 25, 26, 27 for syncing purposes. The barracks coming up here for Hwasin. He's going to go standard, thinking of going for 1 Rex into Expo. I think not gonna go for his funky little 14cc on a two-player map. That was kind of funky. ZerO gonna put down his 12 hatch and sending out a drone scout. So it's very standard, and I've heard comments about this lately, and I agree that this is getting kind of stale. Terrans go for 1 Rex into Expo. Zergs go for 12 hatch into 3 hatch Muta, and that's what happens. That's basically how it plays out. It doesn't get interesting until late mid game, until maybe mid game to late mid game. Doesn't really get interesting until more than 15 to 20 minutes into the game, until more than 15 minutes definitely have passed. Drone going to be harassed there, trying to harass that SCV, but Barracks came up fine, so not going to manage to overall too much there. But it's also actually blocking off his ramp with his drone, so I'm wondering if this is going to go for something interesting. The SCV scout, meanwhile, now moving out for Hwasin. Also has his 1 Marine out, push the drone away, and going to put down his command center. Not going to get that SCV scout on top of that ram, or maybe he's going to try to fight the drone for it. SCV's going to bid a drone in a 1-on-1 fight. Another drone coming off the line, though. Almost space for Hwasin to get through. Going to try again, but no, not going to be able to do that. I think he's heavily damaged on this. SCV not going to bother trying that, but thinking of being irritating. I'm going to see what actually tries to go for something. Production hatchery going to be placed down by ZerO here, putting in more drones into the natural expo. Meanwhile, just Hwasin waiting for his commander to come up and he's deciding, you know what, I'm sniping you, and this is what I love about. Thank you, Hwasin. I'm exactly talking about stale StarCraft here, but awesome. This production hatchery. Oh man, it's gonna delay troops. That production hatchery could have been, more Zerglings, but only 2. Spot those Marines coming out. Gonna spot the SCVs following. No bunker being put down as of yet. He's gonna try to put down some sunken colonies, ZerO that is. But SCV's gonna come out there now. Now this is the perfect time to see the first-person view. This is what you want to see. SCV's gonna block, trying to get us around. That sunken drone's gonna be pulled off the line. All the drones getting pulled off the line. It's trying to stay on top of the round. There are 3 Marines there and a bunker coming down. 4th Marine coming in as well. We're gonna see what the drone's gonna try to get inside, close to the Marines, try to get us around, try to pick some of them up. But all the drones getting killed. A bunker comes up. SCV's gonna continue trying to attack the sunken colonies. All the drones being forced back. Some of the Marines coming in close. The sunken colony is gonna go down. Almost no drones and a bunker standing. Some Zerglings coming in, but there's going to be no shot here. More Marines coming in to support. Some drones, 6 drones outside the base. They're going to try to cut off reinforcements. They should actually be able to do it, but RCV is going to repair themselves before they go in. And Hwasin still has some mining, I think. I think he left a couple of SCVs to mine. So he's going to repair his SCVs fully. He's still attacking the hatchery. On the opposite, on the opposite side, ZerO has some mining as well. Hwasin actually has some idle SCVs because he's focusing a little bit much on the action. But Zerk is going to try to come in. SCV is going to block around. Drone's going to come in as well. Try to get us run. Try to pick up the bunker, but not nearly enough damage being done. Some of the SCV is being picked off. Drone's going to try to get some fire on that. SCV is going to repair the bunker. Drones and Zerglings not enough. I'm going to be seeing GG any second now. More Marines coming in. GG from ZerO and Hwasin. Oh, the look on ZerO's face tells the whole story. Hwasin bringing the pain. Oh, like, you know what? I'm sick of this stale 1-racks into expansion crap. Goes in there, just finishes the game. I want to go home now, so he does. And ZerO going to go into the final match looking a little bit dejected, but he's still going to have a shot here. He was expecting a more standard game. He knows he could have beaten Hwasin in a standard game, but he was not given that. Hwasin, hoping pretty much Hwasin. If he's not in the mood for a standard game, he's not going to play one. So, GG guys, wrenching out. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed. And we're bringing you the losers in the final match next. This is going to be the losers match in Group F of the round 32 of the whatever MSL 2010 spring season. This is going to be between FireFist and JangBi. On Fighting Spirit, we're going to have FireFist at the bottom right corner as the yellow Zerg, and we're going to have JangBi at the upper right hand corner as the red Protoss. Ketchup and mustard. But I don't feel the need to have any hot dogs because I had hot dogs yesterday. I had a couple of Icelandic hot dogs with, what was it, mustard, ketchup, an Icelandic thing called remoulade, which I don't think, remoulade or something. I don't think it exists anywhere else. I'm not sure. It might be. Probably does, but I don't know. And some deep fried onions. Skip the raw ones. But those 5 things are pretty much generally the only stuff you get on hot dogs in Iceland, and it's enough. It's enough. So yay, don't need anything else. We're a very special people, and I don't care. It's just the way we are. So let's talk about the game. Let's see, JangBi and FireFist. FireFist. Yeah, looking like he can't cheese his way out of a group this time, unlike his innate MSL performance where he managed to four-pull his way out of a group. And, well, that's what happened. And then he got, faced off against Jaedong in the round of 16, and we all know how that ended. Death for FireFist. FireFist's flame got snuffed out. Okay, let's see. That looks like a 12 pull being put down. I think that's a 12 pull. Could be an over pull, but I think it's a 12 pull. With Pro being annoying here for JangBi getting the instant scout. Probably going to see a drone, one in the drone. Probably going to actually trying to put down the expansion. But 2 drones actually going to the one drone to fight back the probe, one to put down the expansion, or not. Okay. Going behind the base, the minerals there, the drone. Poor drone. That's not where you want to go, man. Maybe FireFist kind of rethought his strategy there. Going to try to fight that probe off with one single drone. Put down, does put down the hatchery. JangBi not being quite persistent with his probe, but still going to manage to get the scout in. Not going to go for any weird boxing in forge fast expanded maneuvers this time. But he's only facing off against Zergs in this group because he's got ZerO in the final match after this one, so... Mind you, FireFist's skill against Protoss not really on the same level. Putting down his Nyx before anything else. Despite that, it was only a 12 hatch, so he's probably going to have enough. He's putting down his cannon now, so he might be forced to put down 2. Unless he puts down his gateway, or we're going to see what he puts down his gateway before he puts down the second cannon. I'm not really too sure what it's going to do. I think the second cannon would actually be a slightly safer maneuver, but he decides to go for the gateway instead. Block the middle with the probe. I don't think the Dragoon would probably not be able to get between that, but a Zealot most likely will, so... He will most likely then at one point be forced to do something. Well, he does do a pretty good job of keeping the Zerglings inside of his own... inside of FireFist's own base just with that single probe. FireFist actually not being aggressive, and JangBi actually could have foregone that gateway at that location, but... Hey, it's JangBi. I'm not going to question a pro. I was thinking of adding something at the end there, but I figured the word pro was enough. Flicking his probe around pretty irritatingly for the Zerg player, meanwhile, keeping it alive for a long while. Slowly recharges the shields, meanwhile, so he can always take an additional hit. Third Expo coming up for FireFist at the 6 o'clock. And where ZVT these days has gotten kind of stale and predictable, ZVP kind of stays... Well, you see build orders that are alike, but it's still a lot of fun. Still always something fresh going on. I mean, come on. Did you see what JangBi went for last game? What the heck was that? I do not know. But it was not. It was unusual. It was interesting. 7 score on the way, so we're probably going to see the Stargate putting up any second now. Some mining going on inside of FireFist Natural Expo. Going to take a while to get that up. I'm wondering, probably just going to go for a good old standard stuff. Actually, no. Okay, Hydroden before. It's probably before Lair Check. Altogether skip Lair Check. So I think FireFist is thinking of a break. He has a 6. Third hatchery at the 6. And still Probe hasn't scouted that, but I think he's thinking of trying to go for a break here, trying to just amass up a control group of Hydras and try to go for it, see what he manages to do with that. And to fight this back, Jamie's going to have to put down a bunch of cannons soon. pretty soon. Probe still hasn't scouted that. And oh god, FireFist, if you did not prevent that scout, you are... Yeah, puts the drone on that ramp the second that it happens. Needs to prevent that scout. Probe's not going to be able to get up the ramp. It's going to surround it. Jamie still managed to keep alive, though. But at the very least, going to spot the... Spot the larvas. Might give him some clues like suspicious. One zealot on that front, and first Hydra now. First Hydra's out there. They're gonna might even go ahead and put up some pressure alongside the ZerO right away. 3 zealots alongside a couple of cans gonna be there to defend. Probe gonna be running back. He's gonna spot the Hydra. I think the second he actually stopped that Probe because he went back to his base, put down a third photon cannon. The second he spotted those Hydras, put down a third photon cannon. ZerO and 3 Hydras. Not quite sure if this is going to be enough. More Hydras are going to be streaming out, though. So FireFist is going to think going for this ZerO. I think he actually might have revealed his hand a little bit early. I think he honestly should have gone for a couple of Hydras more before he went in with his push. Might have caught JangBi a lot more off guard, giving him less time to prepare. Hydras going to go for this right now. ZerO are going to engage the Zealots, keep them away from the Hydras. Hydra going to start off by picking off one cannon before it even came up, I think. Or actually, no, I think that cannon was up. It was initial cannon. What am I talking about? Some Hydras at the back. Excuse me there. Jadong? What am I talking about? JangBi putting down. Jadong was running in the round 16 range. Remember? You just cast him a couple of days ago. On that note, I'm sorry this is coming in so late, but I had VOD downloading troubles. It happens. Hydra's going to appear to just slowly attack that forge and hope to take that down. It has him in more Hydras at the back. I'm wondering what the point of that is. Gonna stream some more drones, try to get some more economy going. Zealot's always taking a couple of shots as they run under that gateway, kind of splitting his shots around. Now more Hydras coming up, trying to continue these attacks. Not producing any Corsairs. JangBi just can't afford to produce any Corsairs now. Has been just rushing to get some High Templars out there. Gateway's going to go down. The Forge is going to go down alongside it. So JangBi just putting down as many cannons as he can before the Forge comes down. He's going to have 6 cannons to work with. On the opposite side, Lair on the way now, finally for FireFist. And JangBi actually went for speed. Forge still alive. That's interesting. Why hasn't he taken that? Finally takes that down. But Zealot's Mule just going to run out, and this could be a perfect counterattack from JangBi. He just decided, you know what? Screw this. He can't have anything at all to defend. So he's going to go with 5 Zealots. And only a few Hydras to defend, not much else. Some Overlords kind of running on top of them. And there's going to be a Corsair coming in as well. He did produce 1. Hydras pop instantly. Just the drone's going to be 1 Hydra and a bunch of drones going to be fighting. And I think there's actually some Lurkers going to be morphing in now for him as well. I'm not quite sure whether there's morphing or not. 1 Zealot's going to stay inside the natural expansion, try to do some harassment. Corsair's going to be able to manage to do some damage. And 4 Zealots inside of FireFist's main gun, try to do as much damage as possible. The Hydra's going to be forced back here, but the Zealots are still going to manage to accomplish quite a bit. Some ZerO coming in out of their eggs as well. Those Zealots will go down eventually, but they're at the very least going to try to do as much damage as humanly possible. 1 Zealot left at this point. It's going to get picked off, but still a lot of damage done here. A lot of harassment. All the drones in Natural Expo aren't doing anything. Quite a few drones at main, and JangBi's hair is very red. High Templar's finally coming out. He's putting a lot of gateways inside of his main. Being forced on a very heavy ground army. Another Forge being put down already, and he's working on weapons 1. But the timing, very good timing on that speed. FireFist apparently had moved some of his drones away to the 6 o'clock to keep him safe, so he's going to move those back to his NAT. More gateways being added in by JangBi, so he's just going to try to get some High Templars out there. Getting quite a few of those and trying to amass some Zealots alongside to fight back. So, with the amount of Hydras that are right now, that not that many. You really can fight back. You really can fight back a small-sized Hydra army with nothing but Zealots and High Templars. Storm and Zealots to force him back and try to get position so that they run into run into some storms. DT gonna come down to 6 o'clock. Overlords do have speed. I'm not quite sure if FireFist spotted that DT or not, and even if that Overlord could have, maybe he wasn't quite paying attention to what was happening. Overlord do have speed though, so they're gonna be able to run away from those Corsairs. And he's trying to pick the Soul Lord off. More Lords coming towards the 6 o'clock, so I think he knows the DT's coming this way. And JangBi's gonna, forgo that attack. Gonna wait with that. Am I using the word forgo correctly? Isn't that... So, does it mean what I think it is? I don't know. Robotics facility now up for him already, so he's gonna be taking to Observatory. Still running with that Corsair running around, spotting. No Spire, from what I can see. Is there a Spire? No Spire up yet. For FireFist, completely skipping the Spire. Interestingly enough, just adding in production hatcheries. Generally, you do see those trying to go for those Scourge, but he's just gonna entrust his Hydras to picking off those and skipping the Spire tech. You know, why sometimes why go for Spire if you're not gonna go for Mutas? Hey, just get a couple of Scourge out there. Hey, Hydras can take out air units. You know. Still, that Cursor running around there for JangBi getting the spot, and some Dragoons being produced. We saw them Dragoons on the ground. He's going very heavy on the High Templars. They're going to wait a while as well, get some storms on him, and he's going to hope to not use them as long as possible so that each High Templar at the very least has 2 storms on them. Each High Templar has 2 storms, and they're so useful. He's going to do it. Finally Spire on the way now, so probably going to get some Scourge out there, knowing that there are some Observers most likely on the way. You really want some Scourge for Observer sniping. If not, just sniping off and get rid of those pesky Corsairs. Very Dragoon heavy now here for JangBi. This is the kind of style we often see from Stork. He plays very heavy on the Dragoons, even against Zerg players, and has exquisite, I'm using that word to describe StarCraft, I know, exquisite Dragoon micro. He really, he fails like everybody else in the role does sometimes, but generally does a very good job. Oh! Corsair barely managed to get out of the way. Takes quite a few Corsair fires. Corsair shots. Corsair fire, Hydra shots. What am I talking about? Fire from Hydras. Dear God. My brain is slowly melting, and it happens all the time. Let's see, range on the Dragoons just finished, I believe. They're Goons, and as soon as that finished, JangBi deciding to move out. Has quite a few Dragoons. They also, of course, act as large meat shields for High Templars. I think he has some Zealot in the mix. Does he? I don't see any Zealots in the mix, actually. He had some Observers as well, and this is actually a very good anti-lurker army that JangBi has on the ground right now. They had 1 or 2 Zealots, has some Observers as well. He's going to be able to gun down these Lurkers in no time with these Dragoons. Sure, they're going to take a few shots, but they're going to be able to gun down these Lurkers, no problems whatsoever. Nothing to take out that Observer. A bunch of those Lurkers are going to die just now. Hydras and Zergans going to come in. Storms are going to come in from JangBi on top of all those forces. Oh, God. Beautiful storms from JangBi. FireFist thought he had JangBi in a corner, thought he had him in a vice, but several storms get him right out of there. Sure, JangBi lost some forces there, but he really ripped apart everything FireFist sent at him. Beautiful storms. Has an Archon alongside now to support. Not new as many numbers as he had earlier, but managing to save his Observer as well. More Zealots coming in to support, running down now. His weapons, 1 on his own ground force. I'm wondering, don't you think I ever saw even one Evo Chamber actually come out? Another storm going to come on top of those eggs alongside the Lurker. Another storm. Hit some hunters, not as much. Third storm going to hit the better. And of course, really, the fact that he kept those High Templars waiting for a while, really coming in handy now. All those storms can have a second Archon come in. Some forces are going to come in from the back. They're going to get picked off. The Archon most likely going to go down. Does go down. There are some Hydras on all sides. One more High Templar in the mix. And now finally, JangBi is going to be pushed back yet again. But he's actually using this opportunity to try to pick up a base at the 3 o'clock position. Has put down a couple of cannons. They're going to try to plop down an Nexus. Has 6 Dragoons running back. And 1 High Templar. High Templar might actually get sniped. JangBi trying to prevent that from happening from these Zerglings. Trying to pick up the Zerglings. Might have to sacrifice a Dragoon actually do that. More Dragoons actually coming in to support. Quite a few Dragoons coming in to support. So he just managed to save this High Templar. And really, JangBi's storms just saving him. Because if he hadn't had all those storms saved up, or if he had hit badly with those storms, he really could have gotten surrounded badly and just pincered off and killed, and FireFist would be really ahead right now. But he's just going to continue putting on the pressure on FireFist on that bridge. Of course, FireFist, the fact that he has that 6 o'clock position means that he will have another opportunity to go for a vice, try to box in JangBi's forces. JangBi, meanwhile, apparently splitting up his forces a little bit across the bridge so that he's a little bit more wary of that. Sending out Zealots, and I think a High Templar as well towards that 6 o'clock. Actually, never mind. That was not a High Templar. Quite a few Zealots, though, forcing some of those forces away. I'm wondering whether he's trying to go for duper on detect, trying to distract FireFist at the 6 o'clock location. Going to run his Zealots back, though. As soon as a bunch of those Hydras going to come in, has some of those Zealots still in the mix, but going to run most of them back to safety. Not going to pressure as he does that. I think that actually could have been an opportunity to pressure FireFist, but deciding not to do so. Still has other Observers, High Templars, Zealots. Going to go for that for the 3 o'clock. I'm sorry. And as soon as he gets 3 base on 3 base, he's going to be able to pump a heavy army. He's already pumping a rather heavy army. I think he's on 8 gateways, I believe. 7 or 8 gateways. Pumping quite heavily. Gonna, okay, not quite trying to force an engagement. Gonna probably lose High Templar to a snipe. He's gonna get one storm off from the forward. High Templar does get one storm off that hits very well for him. Just slowly backing off. More storms gonna come in as those Hydras and the Lurkers try to come in from all sides. Those Zerglings alongside, and those Observers still in there, not being sniped at all. No Hordes coming in to support. Just Hydras trying to continue pushing out. Some Lurkers coming in the back to support. Another storm not hitting quite well. FireFist finally dodging one fairly well. Finally dodging one. But at the very least, forcing JangBi back for now, and really needs to think about picking up on the Expo. Of course, the fact that he decided to go for the 6 o'clock instead of going for what Zergs usually these days decide to pick up that that base across their other base. Well, in this case, would be FireFist lower left hand, main and eventually transition to that natural as well, or rather pick up the natural first sometimes, and usually pick up the main then naturals first, if I remember correctly. That way, you have 4 gas, and you can basically sunken up your own natural and your main. And you can kind of defend and reinforce that because the reinforcement is not too long. You can still reinforce and save that in case the attacks come in. But now it's going to be a little bit harder for him to pick up a 4th base. So I'm wondering what FireFist is going to do to try to rectify this position. He has finally some Scourge out there. Don't see any Overlords close by to really make him useful against those Observers. Lurker's going to come in, going to get stormed as soon as they even think about burrowing. Double storm. Kill several Lurkers as soon as they think about even doing anything. High Templar Zergling's going to come in, though. Another High Templar storm coming in very nicely. Just every single thing FireFist sends to JangBi, he has a storm waiting right on top of it. They're going to be able to at least do something, push JangBi back a little bit, Zerglings and Hydras finally. But I think just FireFist, the problem with what he's doing here is that he's going to be able to keep up this attack, but only for a while. Soon enough, his pressure is not going to continue on. We saw him Observer getting sniped. There's still some nice storms from JangBi, trying to slowly keep him back. Morphing another Archon. Dragoons fighting toe-to-toe with these Hydras and these Lurkers. Dragoons, they're not the best units against Hydras, but they can fight with them toe-to-toe. And they're extremely effective against the Lurkers. So I understand why he goes for this heavy Dragoon army composition. Although he does have some Zealots running around, acting as buffers. A lot of cannons going down at this 3 o'clock. He knows it's threatened at the moment. Doesn't want it to get picked off. Sending some Zealots to help support it at the moment. One Eye Templar at that location might actually also be a good idea. Although I fully understand if he wants to instead keep that in his army. FireFist still only keeping it on 3 bases. He really wants to think about it. I understand he wants to go and finish this off now. He wants to keep up this pressure while he still can. But he's sending out a drone, I assume, to put up another base. And really needs to do that. Program down. JangBi already put up a pylon at the 6 for the possibility of picking up this base for himself in the future. Probably is going to run around and try to stay alive. Staying alive. Staying alive. No. I still feel that just the way the game is progressing is still in JangBi's favor. He has 3 bases against FireFist's 3. And FireFist, despite constantly pumping units like crazy, just hasn't been able to do the amount of damage to JangBi he had to. Just hasn't been able to do that fatal amount of damage to, make JangBi extremely vulnerable to him, to put JangBi in a very bad position. Picking off a base would have been exactly what he needs to do, but now he has to pick up his own base pronto and defend it well, so he can at least continue trying to fight toe-to-toe, because JangBi is definitely economically superior at the moment. He's going to have a rather large amount of forces. He can reinforce fairly quickly as well. Has High Templars always waiting on those storms. Had a bunch of Dragoons, some Zealot as well, but going still very heavy on Dragoons with High Templar support. Weapons 3 at this point, while we see the Hydras of Weapons 2 upgrades. No Carapace upgrades, which I find, just kind of odd, actually. I feel a Carapace upgrade, which really help him. A second Evolution Chamber would be a big help to help his forces survive those Dragoons attacks and Zealots attacks better. JangBi going to pick up a 4th base, while a Zerg player, FireFist has no 4th of his own. Did I say 3rd? I meant 4th. If I accidentally said 3rd, sometimes I confuse myself. But yeah, JangBi going to pick up a 4th, while FireFist hasn't even thought of that, apparently. I thought he sent out a drone rower to possibly pick up a base, but I just don't see whether he's actually done that. He has quite a decent-sized army. Lurkers going to come in. They're all going to get stormed all over the place. Hydra's going to come in from the left side. One more pincer coming in from FireFist. I think this is going to be his last shot at this, but I just don't think he has enough. More storms. All the Lurkers are dead now. Nothing but Hydras, and against this huge count of Dragoons, quite a few of them are dying, but I think there's just too many Dragoons. High Templar are also in the mix, just running in close. close. Some Hydras coming in to reinforce, so this might still be an opportunity for him to get, but a lot of Hydras dying. Some Zealots also in the mix right now. They're going to possibly push those Hydras back. Lurkers, one Lurker coming in to support as well. Dragoons, however, I think in large enough number to push this back. Zealots also, weapons 3 on those Dragoons, really coming in handy now, ripping those Zergs to pieces, focusing, oh, beautiful play, focus firing those forces. And leaving FireFist with absolutely no chance to GG, economically behind in every way possible. When you got a Protoss player picking up more bases than you have, you know you're in bad shape. So he tried to go for that last-ditch effort attack. He knew if he could take down that army, he'd be able to safely pick up a base, even pick up that entire lower left-hand corner. But no shot for him. I understood his plan. Tried to go for a Hydra break first, then just try to keep up the pressure, but just didn't go there. So JangBi's going to get a rematch with ZerO here. Wondering whether we're going to see some crazy antics there or not. But he still has a chance to get out of this group, get into the round 16. So it's what you get with somewhat stacked groups. We already have Hwasin in round 16, but either JangBi or ZerO are going to be forced to knock out. Kind of saddens me a little bit, but hey, what you going to do? So moving on to the final match, guys. Wrenching out. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed. GG. Hey guys, Wrenching here, bringing StarCraft commentary. This is going to be the final match in Group F of the round 32 of the whatever MSL 2010 spring season. 2010 spring season. Which Nuke suggested I call this the Ranshin MSL, and I kind of like that idea. The Ranshin MSL, yeah. Oh god, it would be very, very epic. So this is going to be on Triathlon, the new funky map. 3-player map. We're going to have ZerO at the 12 o'clock position as the purple Zerg. We're going to have JangBi at the 8 o'clock position as the yellow Protoss, or orange Protoss. So looking forward to this. One's going to be a rematch of the second set where JangBi went for very funky Forge Fast Extend, block in, try to pick off the natural what the hell strategy into way too much tech into I lose. But it was still very creative and interesting. So I look forward to see what he does here in this one. 38, 39, 40. I had a bunch of syncing issues in the last one. It was insane because I forgot to do, not just because I forgot to do that, it would have definitely made it easier, but because I think I started the game, I probably started the VOD up, paused it, and then started the game without pushing the stop button and restarting setting the VOD to 0 seconds. So that kind of messed things up a bit. So if the losers match is a little bit out of sync, I apologize beforehand. And quickly want to say that I've probably forgotten this already, but happy Easter, everybody. For those of you that celebrate Easter, congratulations and all that stuff. For those of you that do not celebrate Easter, enjoy your holidays, because I'm assuming even if, you probably still have holidays because of it anyway. So, hey, enjoy your days off for no reason whatsoever. So ZerO's going to go for a 12 hatch here, and JangBi's going to attempt to be very, very nasty with his probe, lagging a little bit behind. Oh, God. Okay, actually, ZerO's not going to run towards that towards that net. Figuratively, I believe you could sneak a drone past the cloaked lurker eggs inside your main, right there. Yeah, you can't actually spot the probe can get through that, no problem whatsoever. So I assume the drone could as well, and actually ZerO does exactly that. Goes for that base. Goes for that base. Actually, interesting. I didn't see any eggs. Under the didn't see any eggs under the arbiter for some reason. I know they're cloaked, but pretty sure I should be able to see them. Or the observer should be able to see them. On the opposite side, JangBi forgo the forge completely. Gonna go for the next Saw. There's no spawning pool anywhere. So Nexus first, and there's still nothing coming at me. So whatever, put down gateway first. Wondering if this is actually gonna blockade him in a little bit or not. Oh, ZerO thinking of putting down, finally putting down that drone. The initial drone most likely haven't been the scouting drone. Almost bad at health, but probe being very annoying. Actually, even popping down. Hey, Pylon. JangBi, you are a very annoying person. And so that's going to annoy ZerO even more. He does have his spawning pool up. And so he decided, yeah. Did I decide put it? Okay, Forge is up now for JangBi. So is most likely going to put down, maybe put down some cannons. Did I see a production hatch being put? I felt I saw, no, almost likely just a hatch in the upper left hand morphing in. So never mind. But, of course, one of the most interesting factors about this base is that you got a base at the 11, the 3 or like the 2 and the 6 that are on two sides blocked in by eggs cloaked by arbiters. And you also have a base inside your main that is the same. So it's very, you can take a very quick safe base, but JangBi opting to go for the net and picking up the safe base later. And of course, earlier in the game, there is also the problem that if your opponent decides to drop it, you might not reinforce it. Workers should be able to get through the lurker eggs, but whether troops can, that's a completely different issue. ZerO is going to plop down that hatchery, getting his lair up. Meanwhile, wondering exactly what he's going to go for. His builder was a little bit interrupted. JangBi's still going to have that scout inside, getting his net score. So he's going for standard play. Has a Powell coming up, most likely going to get his Stargate inside of his main and get some cursors out there to get the scout. Not that he needs it. He has a scout out there and doing a pretty good job overall of keeping that scout in there. Whew, let's see what's going on. Probe still, yeah. Apparently, yeah, with the arbiter in there, even I can't see the eggs. That's odd. Pretty sure I should be able to do so, but hey, I could be wrong. Felt I was able to do that in the last game. Maybe they changed that or something. I don't know. Spire on the way, so I think ZerO's actually just gonna go for good old standard. Get some Corsairs out there, kill that Corsair. Get what out there? What am I talking about? Get some Scourge out there, kill the Corsair. Wow, I need a smack in the face. And I think way too many people out there agree with me when I say that. So we're gonna be Stargate, so we're gonna see Corsair, some Corsairs out there, and attempting some damage will be done, or attempted to be done by JangBi. Production hatch being put at the front as natural. Robotics facility up, so he's going to go for Ser Reaver, most likely. Unless he's trying to go for Observer first, but I don't really see any reason to do so since he got the full scout. He pretty much has a good idea of what's coming at him. Only one cannon at the front with a couple of Zealots blocking in that choke, and ZerO is not going to be able to do anything whatsoever aside from spot what's there. Might run into just spot how many cannons are at the front, but since ZerO is not really going for an aggressive strategy here, there's no really need for him to sacrifice a Zergling or two just to spot how heavily defensive JangBi's playing at the moment. Saw some of course spinning. That's most likely for weapons 1. But at the very least, JangBi doing a good job of hiding this. Don't think ZerO really knows this is coming at him because he's where was that? Was there an Overlord in there? I think there was. I think Overlord actually ran away before too much else happened. I'm kind of lost view of the Overlords on the map. That's why you generally should pay attention where an Overlord, goes at the start of the game, ranching, so you know what's going on. But I'm pretty sure that no scout in there for ZerO. Initial Corsair out there, robotics support bay almost up. So we're going to be seeing Reavers come up alongside Charles. More Corsairs being produced at the moment. One Dragoon and Zealots actually moving out. Scourge going to come in there and get the scout though on this. So also getting more Scourge would be a fairly good idea. One more Photon cannon at the front for JangBi. One single Dragoon and a couple of Zealots just going out there, kind of trying to push everything back, making sure there's nothing coming out. Hydra stand and an Evolution Chamber coming up, so it's going to be a Hydra heavy army coming in from ZerO. A couple Hydra drones. That's always odd when that happens. So yeah, okay. Apparently, we only even get to see the eggs when there's actually something gets spot. The eggs are going to slowly but surely take those eggs to pieces. Of course, each hit only does 1 damage, but slowly but surely. The most efficient way, I believe, to kill lurker eggs is, ironically enough, lurkers. And siege tanks as well. Probe scout gonna try to get through again. Oh, I'm actually a little bit surprised by his choice. JangBi decided to send in a probe instead of sending in his Corsairs. More like feeling vulnerable and wanting to keep every single one of his Corsairs alive. But the probe is gonna run in, spot nothing, and just give his life. He lived a good, albeit short, mechanical life. So it's fine. First Reaver at the front. Don't see a shuttle at him first. So JangBi playing a little bit defensive to start things off. But creep colonies coming up. So ZerO's gonna put down spore colonies to prepare for the Scourge coming in. Drider has, I think he landed one on. Of course, they're not quite sure if he took one down. Temple Archives coming up as well. And adding in gateways. So JangBi confusing me again. I think he might be actually thinking of a tech switching because he knows that ZerO spotted this. He's like, I don't have the element of surprise. And might be a good thing because often enough StarCraft players, they're like, well, he knows what's coming at him, but I'm going to do it anyway. I mean, what else am I going to do, And tech switching can be risky. but still, it could be very effective. Weapons 1 of the Corsairs, they're going to go out try to kill as many overlords as they can. One single Hydra to defend at that base. Another overlord is going to go down. 2 overlords dead. Right to those Corsairs. All the Corsairs still alive. Are they going to be able to... Okay, deciding not to have more Curse, Scourge, and Hydras in large amount, and speed on those overlords as well. So the Corsairs are going to fly back and run and gun for their lives. Initial shuttle finally now out. And only 1 Reaver. I'm assuming he's waiting for the second one. He's going to have that Reaver at the natural expo, so the Hydra's not going to be able to do much damage. And here where the good position comes in, because he set up this position at his natural, it would have been much more harder to defend now from those Hydras. But now, as he picks up his third, if he had picked up his third here, but now he can safely pick up his third at the lower left hand, 7 o'clock. So fairly easy. One Dark Templar moving around, we're going to see he's actually going to go base hunting. Run towards the lower right hand and the 6, trying to spot whether there's anything there interesting for them to kill and take care of. There are some overlords in positions, though. Finally, now Corsairs going to move out with a shuttle. I assume it might have 2 Reavers, might have a Reaver and a couple of Zealots instead. We're going to see what happens. Okay, DTs. Drop someone. DTs have the main. No Overlord there, so some drones are going to lose. Finally, Overlord comes in. So, oof, DT gonna perhaps lose life. Not quite. A couple of Zealots going to be dropped. Oh, still shuttle kept alive. Corsairs going to stay in there, though. They're not doing much to kind of just... possibly just taking some fire for the Zealots. Some Scourge come in there, pick off 1 of those Corsairs. I think the shuttle's still alive. Hope the shuttle's still alive. I'm actually not sure if he dropped a Reaver there or not. Didn't see any Reaver drop. Yeah, the Reavers both at his base, so actually did not drop any Reavers. Kept them alive just in case, because he knew about those Hydras at his front. So he want to make sure that those didn't get taken down. Actually added in a smart cannon there. Smart cannon placed him here. Added in a little bit northwest to the very close to the middle lines, just to attack those, to have something for the Corsair. Pardon me. Have something for the Corsair to retreat to. ZerO now picking up his third at the inside 12 o'clock. Every single base on this map is a gas base that does have the Zerg, does help the Zerg players. Some of them are very hard to defend, such as this inside 12. Those inside bases that are basically very open to the middle can be extremely hard to defend. They're way in the open. They can, when you have a base, they can get basically surrounded and attacked from different sides. That's tough. So ZerO actually moving out with Hydras and picking out some eggs. I'm not quite sure whether, I think that was at the upper right hand. So he's thinking about that 2 o'clock position, take that for himself. Of course, if you pick apart, if you have your natural expansion, you can pick apart some of the eggs and get access to one of those closed-in bases, but it's still going to be closed in on another side. So overall, it's going to be a fairly easily to defend base, going to be a fairly easy base to reinforce. So ZerO starts off by taking off a risky base and a hard base to hold at the inside 12, but after I'm going to follow that up by picking up a somewhat easier base. Also has a lot of overlords with drop ready, so you might be thinking of a drop. There are some Corsairs out there, so they're ready at this lower left hand. They're going to move back a little bit. Yes, they're going to spot the overlords. They're going to spot the overlords. Still running around. Are they going to spot? Oh no, JangBi going to move them back and then turn them around. Oh, he is going to get those overlords. Going to pick at least some of them off. Yeah, ZerO's going to be forced to cancel his drop. Not losing any single one of his overlords because he dropped those Hydras, was forced to cancel that, and JangBi was forced to cancel his attack on the overlords, but never really stopped that drop from coming on. The drop would have been very damaging. Meanwhile, a couple of shuttles with no Corsair support to speak of. Gonna go for that 12. Oh no! One shuttle dies instantly, and a few Zealous men drop alongside a Dark Templar, but they're not really gonna manage too much. Gonna be able to run around a little bit, but not manage overall too much. DT might get a couple of drones. No, he doesn't even get a single drone before he dies. God, I hope for his sake there were no Reavers in that. I hope he kept his Reavers at his front. I think he is, just to feel safe there. Nope! No Reavers. Oh God. If he had Reavers in those shuttles, it's a very bad position for JangBi to be in. But I'm not sure. I'm overall not sure whatsoever. Hey, the Arbiter also. Hey, I finished off the eggs. Actually, no, what am I talking about? The eggs are right there. Arbiter goes down, and there you go. A bunch of worker eggs for you to have fun with. So ZerO meanwhile has opened up a base at that 2 o'clock position. Is going to take that out. 2 o'clock, 2:30 or so. JangBi meanwhile going to pick up the inside 9 o'clock. So he's going to take one of the risky bases. Second illusion chamber up for ZerO. He's going to meanwhile go for an attack. The Reavers are still alive. The Reavers are going to save. He even has Templar at the Reavers are going to push those Hydra's back instantly. Just Zero gonna say nope. He has a couple of Reavers and a bunch of Dragoons to support. I think not. And he also has some Hydra stuck at that 6 o'clock due to eggs. They're not even attacking the eggs. A lot of workers gonna come in though for ZerO. ZerO's still very good economically. JangBi also actually keeping up. It's smart that he's picking up a 4th base at this point because he has quite a different type of tech units out there. Has only weapons 1 so far. Soon weapons 2 should be up fairly soon. A lot of Hydra's going to stream down here. Going to see whether JangBi's going to be able to hold this off. Corsair's running around still hunting overlords. So JangBi doing a decent job, but at very least keeping the side count low as he possibly can. If he just goes around, he can continue doing a lot of damage with that. More High Templars being produced by JangBi so far. Has some more Dragoons produced, and he's now going to saturate that inside 9 o'clock. So we're going to have 4 bases against 5. Pretty decent position for both players to be. They're going to be pretty strong economically. So this might more come down to who manages to run around and pick off a base or who's going to win the major engagements. So it's just going to be able to see who manages to do the economic damage or the engagements. That's usually what it comes down to. Corsairs, though, getting... Oh, look at all those overlords turning into victims. Dragoons and Corsairs on all sides. This is going to side block ZerO significantly. It's going to force him to waste minerals and time on getting overlords. So he's going to most likely want to forego... I'm using that word a lot these days. He's going to most likely going to want to wait on the engagements. There's a lot of workers out there for defensive purposes in case drops comes in. Going in for Hive now, and I'm wondering whether he's going to try to go for Defilers or try to go straight to Ultras. He can't afford the Ultras. He definitely can't afford the Ultras. But I feel his Defiler play is extremely strong, and the last time he played an important match and went for Ultras and skipping Defilers, it didn't end up very well for him. So we're going to see JangBi going to move in for an engagement, get a Storm. One Storm that he really didn't need to use there on the Hydras as they were retreating, I feel. But hey, has observers to support him here, so he's going to be able to shell those Lurkers from a distance with those Reavers. Hydras coming in from the back, though, so JangBi might get boxed in here. Has a lot of those forces. Storms, he needs to save those Storms. He doesn't know what's coming in from the back, I think. One of his observers went down. I'm not quite sure if all went down or not. Has another observer in there, though. More Scourge coming in close. They are going to be picked off before they manage to pick off any more observers. Forces coming in from the back. One Storm catching a huge clump. A second Storm catching a huge clump of Hydras. Pincer attack absolutely fails for ZerO, and you can tell by the serious look on his face he's in trouble. He's going to manage to hold this off a little while longer thanks to his Lurker staying in that position. More Hydras coming in close. Another Storm catches a lot. The Reavers both go down, though, but still a lot of High Teleport in place for JangBi, so he's storming all over the place. Not quite sure if he actually picked up one of the Reavers instead, but I'm pretty sure he lost both of them. Definitely lost one of them. But ZerO holds just thanks to his huge count of lurkers. Huge count of lurkers, which JangBi just did not have the time and resource to break through. At least his economy is still strong, but he's lost a lot of overlords and he's lost a lot of forces. And now JangBi has some map control going on, so he can just run around and do some damage. Forzelt's going to drop right in that 2 o'clock position, pick up the second colony in seconds, and now Hatchery's in danger, but there's Hydra is coming back, so they're most likely going to save this. For drop coming in. Actually, Hydra's on the other side of the eggs towards that 11 o'clock base that's blocked in. Oh, God. Is this hatchery going to... No, the hatchery most likely will be saved. Yeah, the hatchery's going to be saved. I think another second colony instantly coming down for ZerO. ZerO has to make sure he keeps... Losing a base here would be very, very, very bad. In fact, he might think about picking up another one. He's going to move out. Has a lot of lurkers out there. Let's see. Carapace 1. Weapons 2. 1 High Templar sitting there waiting. Not even going to manage to get a storm off. Acting as a scout. Like, hey, I can't fire psionic storms. I'm useless, so might as well sit here and wait, scout, and then report in and die. That's the work of a scout. That's what scouts do. They sit around, see what's coming at them, and when they do, they die. Because, yeah, that's what happens. Another job going to come in right on top of the main. What's this going to be? Oh, High Templar drop on top of the drones. ZerO at the very least managed to move some of the way, so not as much damage done as could have been, but did the shuttle go down? I think the shuttle went down as it was flying away, actually. But still a nice drop. Not as much damage done as he would have wanted, but I think JangBi at this point feels that some of his High Templars are expendable, as long as he does some damage with them, and I think he's right, actually. With the amount of damage he's done overall, he is in pretty good position. Has those Corsairs actually just not doing much, not doing the insane overlord hunting they were doing. Or a couple of shuttles. I have to be kind of away. Have to try to carefully keep away from that, from those forces running down to the low right-hand position, but he's going to go with the 2 shuttles right for this base at the 3. 1 shuttle went down. Second shuttle going to go down. 3 Zealots with 1 sunken colony. More Hydras coming in. Zealot's going to try to run French for the hatchery. Going to try to get that down. Not going to manage to take that down, but it's still going to be very highly weakened. More force is going to come in right from the upper right-hand inside 12 o'clock. ZerO in serious trouble here. JangBi coming to play. 3 Archons now. A lot of storms trying to catch in all the lurkers. Some of those storms won't even be blind. But with the Archons to support, some force is going to come in from the back. But for ZerO, he's going to manage to get a decent pitch. I don't think he has any force at the front. A lot of storms catching all the lurkers. A lot of them still survive, though. So some of these forces are still going to be heavily damaged. But JangBi has enough forces overall to support. Has more Archons coming in. And still a lot of Dragoons, more Hydras coming in for ZerO to try to fight this back. But JangBi's picking up the 11 o'clock base. And ZerO has lost his 12 o'clock, inside 12 o'clock. So ZerO's now in a pretty bad position. Trying to push JangBi Jack. There's a name for you. Trying to push JangBi back. Defiler amount coming in. Well, it's already been up for a while, I feel. Yes, I feel it with my psychic powers. But no, pretty sure it's been up for a while. A couple lurkers there as some Zealots hunt down a couple of drones, and the lurkers like, we don't have enough health to burrow. We're gonna die if we try to burrow. Run away. But a pretty bad position for ZerO to be in, and he needed those defilers. He really needed those defilers at that inside 12 when that attack was coming in. Now there's going to be an attack coming in at the 2. Finally, the hatchery goes down. Nothing for ZerO to defend, so he loses a second base, and now he's on 3 mining bases. And this is a very bad position for him to be in. He's just not going to be able to reinforce. And JangBi has this game in his hands now. And in an absolute iron grip. Is on 5 bases. Main's not mining, but the rest of them still have... His natural still has something. ZerO's going to reestablish this 2 o'clock. But his defilers, he needs some Dark Swarms because JangBi has had a very heavy Dragoon army. Those Dark Swarms would have been, mind you, his Storms would have still been able to do the damage they did. But Dark Swarms, so finally some defilers. He's going to try to put down some Sunkens at the inside 12 and try to get back into this with some Dark Swarms finally. If it had Dark Swarm at that when that attack came in for JangBi, he probably would have been able to push it back with much less damage done. So at the very least right now he's just going to try to delay as possible. But the problem is that JangBi has absolute map control, and ZerO just cannot move around and maneuver to do some damage and try to go for some drops, because if he goes for a drop, that's going to be some forces that he's going to lose. And JangBi has a bunch of expendable Storms as well, getting in some Archons. ZerO is going to expand the lower right hand, gets some Plague off on some of those forces. Not really a very big Plague, though. It's an Archon, which is useless. Still, that Defiler going to try to be as useful as powerful. Going to get another Plague off that hits a bit more, not that much. He wants to get a Plague on those High Templars. Make them really weak. But let's see. More Storms going to come off. 1 second colony. The hatchery tries to come up back up. But, yeah, JangBi's having none of this. There's even a Nidus Canal there now. So, desperately trying to hold this ZerO. He knows he needs this base. He's picking up the bottom right. So JangBi, at the very least, by focusing on this base, is not going to be able to pick off that bottom right. But the Dragoons in such good position. Armor 1, Weapons 3, while only Carapace 2 and Armor 1. The Hydras are the ones that are heavily upgraded. And they're not in the mix now. Only Cracklings, Defilers, and the Lurkers. And yet again, JangBi has picked off this inside 12. Fully dominating. Way too many forces. Huge ball of Zerg. Finally some forces streaming upwards for ZerO, but it has nothing to act as the other maw of the Vice. So nothing gonna happen here. Way too many Dragoons. Even if he had Dark Swarms under this, just Storms also. The Dragoons, a beautiful play overall from JangBi. And ZerO just does not have the economy, does not have the troop production, does not have what it takes. More reinforcements coming from JangBi on all sides. And oh man, personally, just ZerO is one of my favorite Zerg players. So seeing him knocked out this early, it's not something I'm used to. He generally gets pretty far in these Star Leagues, in the MSL especially. But, you know, what you're going to do. JangBi bringing a very good game, very beautifully played game. And unfortunately, ZerO going to get himself knocked out in the round 32 of this particular MSL. So, for those of you that are fans of the King of Queens, you're just going to have to wait another year for the possibility. Huge Storms, actually not killing as many drones as I thought it was going to. But the Archons are now knocking out the front door. Bunch of drones, Dragoons at the back to support, and the GG is going to be coming in any second. You can spot that. GG from ZerO. So alongside Hwasin, it's going to be JangBi. ZerO getting crushed by Hwasin in the winners with an absolutely deadly rush. And then, unfortunately, gets caught by JangBi in a bad position. He was in the game. He knows he was in the game. But unfortunately, does not manage to get the wing. So JangBi going to move on to the round of 16. Seemed a little bit, half a year ago, I never would have thought I'd see JangBi play as solid as he played there. I really don't think any player made significant mistakes, although I feel the Defilers were late for ZerO, a little bit late. Defilers, that critical attack would have been absolutely huge for him. But what are you going to do? ZerO getting knocked out. That's what happens sometimes. And Hwasin and JangBi going to move on to the round of 16. So this has been Group F. Hope you enjoyed. There's going to be Group D and Group E next. I think just downloaded the VODs, so I'm going to bring in that to you most likely tomorrow. And also have Winners League Finals to cast. And it's not going to be alone for that one. And it's not going to be on my channel. And it's not going to be on Duke's channel. And, yeah, take that as you will. GG, guys. Wrenching out. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed. Happy Easter and good night.